Today, as I told you, we are going to begin the appeal for the House of Charity. Many people, when I speak about the House of Charity, they say, well, again, another year came around and you want money for us. Well, let me remind you, dear people, the money that you are going to give is not going to me or to the bishop personally. It's going to the needs of the people of the diocese. Remember, there are other people who talk to the bishop and also talk to his people, and the bishop has to provide service for them. 52% of what we collect in the House of Charity go for social activities, like, for example, people who are with drug addiction or alcohol addiction, or they cannot make it in marriage. We have counseling for them. And that's part of the much of the money goes there. Then also the diocese has to provide for those people who are in St. John of God. St. John of God are people who are special people, and I was there and I know what I am talking about, because these people are so loving, and they are people who we really want to give them a life. And the diocese has to provide for them too. The diocese has to provide for the education of the future priest. Many of you see priests in front of you, and they serve the diocese for 30, 40 years, and they have to be educated, and they have to pay, and then the diocese has to pick up the bill. The diocese also is interested in the youth, who are the future of tomorrow. And many of the activities that the youth do, for example, visiting the Holy Father, when they go to be with the Holy Father once a year, and also for those activities that they do from time to time, retreats and things that they do, the diocese has to supply them, because they are the future and we have to really invest in them. The church also is concerned about those who are in parishes who cannot pay their bills. There are parishes who cannot turn the electric on because they have no money, because they are interparochial. Like we're talking Pleasantville, we're talking Camden, we're talking other parts of the diocese. And we help them by the House of Charity. The House of Charity also help nursing homes. Many of our elderly people, because of the situation at home, they have to go to this nursing home. And some of them, they go on Medicare. And who is going to pay the rest that Medicare does not give? The House of Charity. The chaplains that we have in our hospitals and nursing homes, their salary comes from the House of Charity. The bishop is concerned about priests who have served, and now they are retired. I'm not talking about Monsignor Bart, I'm talking about other priests who go to Sacred Heart in Cherry Hill. Monsignor, on his free will, accept to stay in the parish. But some priests want to go to this house because they are unable to take care of themselves. And so the House of Charity has to provide a house for them, the food for them, and all the necessary things that is necessary for them. The House of Charity also reach out to our high school people. I mean, if you compare the tuition that we pay for St. Augustine or Eustace, and compare it with this, like St. Joseph or other high school of the diocese, they're about 3,000 or 4,000 difference. And who's paying for them? The House of Charity. I'm talking about the high school, not the grammar school, because the grammar school, they take 30% of our income, the first collection, 30% of that money go to St. John's, because that is the subsidy that we have, the four parishes here, St. Anthony, and also the 3 parishes here in town. But the only thing is, many people say, where does money go? Where does money go? This money goes to educate priests, even during the time that they are in ministry, to give them updates and so forth. That's why we have Pius X, and that's why we have retreats, and that's why we have seminars, and that's why the bishop constantly updated and educates us, so that these speakers and even the lunches that they give to the priests is come from the House of Charity. My dear people, this is what the House of Charity is all about. Our parish is assessed 33,000. Last year was 43. We didn't make the goal. So this year they lowered the goal because maybe we'll make it. But this is the money that is given to the bishop for these purposes. Now, if this money is not being given to him, he has to cut programs. Imagine people from our own town, people from our own family who apply to the diocese to go, and they don't have counseling for them, and they have to pay big money, and they don't have the money, they're going to destroy themselves. So that is what it is, the House of Charity appeal. I ask the dear people today to take those cards you have in the pews today and make your pledges. Now I'm going to ask you how this pledge is going to work. You can make it work on 12 months, you can make it work on 6 months, you can make it work on 10 months, whatever it is. Please, I ask you, do not give a tip to the House of Charity. When I ask you a tip, you know what I mean. Like go for a dinner and give $10 to the waitress. This is a sacrifice from each one of us. Even us, the bishop wants to make the pledge, and I intend to do it today. Because all of us benefit from this. Because today I am given, tomorrow I will be the beneficiary of this. So I have to take those cards and make the pledge, or give it the amount write a check for the amount that you are going to write. I give you some time now, pass those papers to the people next to you, they have pencils there, and they ask you to do so, because those papers now will go in the collection. And then, you know, tomorrow with Joanne, I will go to the diocese. On behalf of you, I'd like to thank Joanne Varenzano for helping me in doing this, because many people think that I do it by myself. I am successful with the people around me. If the people around me are not successful, neither are I, because they are the ones who make me success, and they are the ones who help me. So tomorrow we call and we see where we are. I hope that we have half of the pledges donated is already in, because otherwise we'll never make a pledge. So I ask you now, in front of God, to think very seriously. Take those cards and make an offering to those people who are crying to you from around the diocese for your help.